Okay, the Mishnah says again, Rabbi Yonah Omer, Ein biyadeinu lo mishavos rashayim, v'af lo miyisrael tzadikim. Rabbi Yonah taught, it's not in our hands the tranquility of the wicked and not the afflictions of the righteous. Okay? Rabbi Misya ben Charash Omer, Have makdim b'shalom kol adam. He taught that one should be the first to say hello to all people. V'heve zanav la'arayos, you should be a tail to the lions. V'ati roish l'shualim, and don't be the head to foxes. So these are all nice teachings in a vacuum. Okay, all right. If we were to look at the first part of the Mishnah, we would say, what's Rabbi Yanai teaching us? Well, he's teaching us that why good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. All right, we don't understand it. It's not in our hands. What the point of that is, as we often question, every Mishnah here is meant to transform us. Every Mishnah here is meant to change our lives. Every Mishnah here is meant to teach us something so fundamental that it's almost, you didn't have glasses before, and then you put them on, you're like, wow, the whole world seems clearer. Everything seems clearer now after I read this Mishnah. So what is this Mishnah teaching us? That it's not in our hands, the tranquility of the wicked and the righteous and the suffering of the righteous. What's that meant to teach us? Okay, that's a question to you to consider. Then, just to make matters worse, there's an inclusion of Rabbi Masya ben Charash, who comes to say, be the first one to say hello to everyone. That's crazy. I mean, we were just talking about reward and punishment here of the righteous or the wicked. What's that got to do with being the first one to say hello to everyone? How's that of any relevance or relation to the original teaching? Seems very, very disparate. And then to make matters even worse, we see another aspect of this Mishnah that says you should be the tail to the lions rather than be the head of foxes. Okay, does anyone want to suggest a connecting point here? What is this Mishnah essentially coming to transform in our lives? What is the teaching here that is really meant to shift our mindset and engagement with this world? Does anyone want to suggest a viewpoint of this Mishnah? It could even be in parts, what the deeper teachings of any of these aspects are. Anyone want to volunteer here? I know it's a little bit difficult.
Thank you.
Go for it,
I think it's about equality, and, whether you're righteous or wicked, everyone has traits of good and bad in all of us, and by greeting people, you're not above, you're not below. So I think it's about all humans being equal in the eyes of God.
Thank you, Gary. Very, very, very powerful, and essentially the deeper understanding of this Mishnah. Okay, very deep understanding of this Mishnah, and that is the concept of equality. And the question we need to ask ourselves, though, is, okay, this Mishnah is teaching us to have an equanimity in terms of our approach to all people. There's no judgment within our engagement with others, okay? We don't view people in terms of their wickedness. We don't view people in terms of their righteousness. And we're the first to say hello to all people. And the Mefarshim, the rabbis explain, hello to all people means even random people in the marketplace. You should be the first one to say hello. We were very cognizant of this when we were going for a walk this morning, to say hello first to everyone, even random people, that don't feel comfortable to greet you necessarily. You should be the first one to say hello. Okay? Now, that's nice. If we were to walk away from this Mishnah now, we would have a nice jittery feeling in our stomachs. Very, very happy, beautiful, bright teaching here. Beautiful Pirkei Avos about equality. But what we need to understand is, in truth, and this is something that hit me very, very hard when I meditated on this Mishnah, and something came in. want to share with you the following understanding. Okay, and I think it has great relevance to our engagement in life, and really this is one of the most powerful mishnahs that I personally, every mishnah is powerful, and I think every mishnah has a specific teaching which is transformative for everyone. But this was a very, very powerful teaching for me that really has gone very deeply inside. Hopefully it will actually make a change, but let's have a look. It's not in our hands, the tranquility of the wicked, and not the afflictions of the righteous. What that means is the following. Okay, and this is an understanding which I think applies to life in general, where we generally engage with life, the way that we think about life, okay, is we think about it in the following framework. Gosh, that person is very successful. Why aren't I so successful? Why have I fallen into a category? Okay, and it doesn't mean that you're not successful, but why am I not as successful? What have I done that isn't as good? Why am I not as popular? Why am I not as accepted? Why am I not as wealthy? Whatever it may be within a person's specific mindset. And what the Mishnah is teaching us here is that it is not in our hands the consideration of who is better, who is worse. What can I do to be above someone, or what I can do to be below someone? Why the wicked, i.e. the individuals in your mind which don't have the right, so to speak, to be better than you, don't have the right to have more success than you. It's you that should be successful. Why do they have tranquility and I do not? And then you have the righteous, the ones that you deem fit, generally yourself, that you come along and say, well, I should have that, or I should have this, or I should have the following circumstances. And that's the general bilbil, confusion that happens in a person's mind, which removes them from the essential experience of life. A constant deliberation of why. Why are things like this? Why are things like that? How do I get ahead in this? How do I get ahead in that? How do I bring this person down or this? And there's a constant negativity in terms of one's engagement with the world. Rather, Rabbi Masya ben Charash came along and taught, the whole purpose of life, one's only perception in terms of their engagement with this world, in terms of their meeting point into this world, in terms of how they are tapping into the essence of this world. The whole purpose is one thing: be the first one to say hello to everyone. What does that mean? What does it mean to be the first one to say hello to everyone? How does that give us a raison d'etre? How does that give us a perception of life? What it teaches us, in my humble opinion, is the following. The understanding of being the first one to say hello to everyone, and this again is galvanized from the Mefarshim, the Maharal, Rabbi Nachman, and a few other Mefarshim, the Midrash Shmuel, explain the following. To be the first one that says hello to someone else means you need to be vulnerable. Means you need to place yourself into a state of vulnerability. But the purpose of that vulnerability is to be able to connect in a genuine way to other people, to connect genuinely in your experience of life and in connection to other. What seems to be other, you bridge to be a unified front. And this seemingly is the essence of what life is about. So when a person is considering in themselves, what am I focusing on in my life? What am I meant to be doing in my life? What am I meant to consider in my life? How am I engaging with the stresses of my life? And generally those stresses come from the first part of the Mishnah. And that is, we're thinking about, how do I get ahead? How do I have tranquility? And how do I avoid the suffering of this world? Why is it that this person is like this and I'm not like this? Why is it like this and not like that? Rabbi Masya is saying, or the Rabbi Yana is saying initially, this is not in our hands. Drop it. Okay? Drop it. One of my friends, his grandmother would have the following saying: drop the subject, boom. That's what she would say. Drop the subject, boom. Drop it. It's not meant to be in your head. It's not something you're meant to be thinking about. But does this mean now that I'm not meant to be a person that tries to think how to get ahead, doesn't think about what to do and work better, doesn't think about how to get in front in life? No. What it means is that the access point to life, why you do everything in life, is for one reason. Number one, to embrace your vulnerability. To be the first one to say hello because you don't know if the other person's going to say hi back. But two, to be able to be an individual that connects, to be genuine in life. That is what life is about. One thing: how am I genuine in my experience of life? What is my experience of life in a real way? That's the essence of what life is about. To be the first one to say hello to everyone means I'm going to be there as a connecting point to every individual. That's what I'm about. A humility in my experience of life. Extremely humble to be able to see everyone as equal. I'm not above anyone and no one's really above me. We're all equal. We're all there to connect. That's the purpose of life, to connect, to be one, to see a genuine experience of everything. And that is something that should color a person's occupation or a person's engagement with work in this world. How they speak to people, what they look out in terms of what they do in terms of their work, what blessing can they bring into the world through connection, through depth, through being a genuine person. And the blessing of that is obviously that life will be more fulfilling. But it's not about who's above and who's below. The final part of this Mishnah is vital. And that is, a person will generally say to themselves, all right, so you're telling me I don't need to be a cunning person. You're telling me I need to just be a connecting person. You're telling me I just need to be a humble person and I can't trample on other people. And that's what life's not about that. It's just about connecting and about being genuine and about feeling the essence of one's experience in every aspect of life and the essence within that experience. Well, then what's going to happen to me? Where am I going to be? What's going to happen? Where am I going to go? I'm scared. I'm going to turn into a tail. I'm going to be lost. People are going to be ahead of me. I'm going to be a tail and everyone else is going to be a fox. Everyone else is going to be ahead. Everyone else is going to be ahead of me. And I'm a tail. Nebach, just genuine, connecting, experiencing life, not worrying constantly about the future. As they say, many people think you have to be insecure to be secure. This Mishnah is telling us, embrace your insecurity. Experience life in a real presence of experience. Be totally within the moment, totally within a genuine experience. That's what life's about, to say hello first to everything in life. And that's how the Mishnah ends off. You're worried you're going to turn into a tail? No. You're a tail of a lion rather than the head of a fox. A fox is a deceptive animal. Yeah, it's generally that's Red Riding Hood, yeah? But the fox is generally a deceptive type of creature, yeah? That's the general icon or identity of the fox. And many people in life, we have a book, I think my mother-in-law gave it to us, very special book called Snakes in Suits, yeah? And there seems to be an approach in life where people think we need to be a snake in a suit. We need to be a fox, the head of the fox. We need to be the person that tricks everyone and gets ahead and gets in front and gets beyond. And that's what life's about, to be sitting up and having everything in your storehouse and being better than everyone else and smarter than everyone else and ahead of everyone else. What the Mishnah is saying is no, you're just the head of the fox. You're the head of nothing. You're living a lie. So you might be the head of it, but you're the head of lies. That's all you are. You're not really tapping into life. Be the tail of a lion, which means in that humility, in that experience of life, in the genuine experience of life, you become the tail, but you are the tail, as Rabbi Nachman said. Someone says, why should I be the tail? He says, because the tail is still the lion. It's still part of the lion. It's still the lion. So yes, you're the tail, but you've tapped into the essence of life. You tapped into Hashem. You tapped into what life's all about. There's nothing better than that. So be the tail. Amazing. There's nothing better than the tail of a lion because you tapped into truth. And that's the teaching, I think, of this Mishnah. And I think it's very powerful, just in context of everyone's experience of life, especially when there's so much flux and we think to ourselves, how do we get ahead? Why is this person made it? You know, they're finally in the industry of selling masks, or they're now got, you know, some access point to you know, imagine having shares in Zoom. You know, why didn't I get in there quick enough? You know, we ask ourselves these types of questions. Why did that person think quicker and smarter and he's ahead of me and he's got the tranquility of life and I'm stuck with the afflictions of life? No. That's not what life's about. That's not what it's about. Yes, you need to think. Yes, you need to engage with life. Yes, you need to be present in life and really plan for life. But it's all through the prism of being genuine. It's all through the prism of saying hello to everyone else first, without judgment of people, with a genuine experience of life, a connection of life, being there as a unifying force to just share your essence with people and connect to their essence and to connect to the essence of life in general. There's no judgment of what's above, below. It's all one. That's what Gary was saying. It's all equal. And that's the final point. Whenever you start feeling lost and saying, well, I'm not ahead of the game. I don't have this amount in my bank account. I don't have this. I don't have that. What's going on? Understand that those people that you're looking at, essentially in that whole framework or the whole worldview of getting ahead, just means you're the head of a fox. It's a lie. There's nothing meaningful in that experience. Those same people are constantly thinking, those same people that you think about, why do they have tranquility, thinking about someone else, why they have tranquility. Because if it's not for the experience of totally tapping in and embracing one's vulnerability and saying, I let go and I'm going to be there just to be a force of connection and blessing and oneness. If we're not in that framework and in that mindset, then we are the heads of foxes rather than the tails of lions. Okay, and this is the deep teaching, I think, of this Mishnah, which is really there to just hone us in as deep as possible to the blessing that surrounds us in everything in life. We're not meant to worry. We're meant to think. We're meant to say, how can I be present in my experience of life? What can I do? What's the next step that I need to do? What's the step that I can do now to be more of a blessing into this world and take care of my family, take care of myself, take care of other people? Yes. How can I call someone else and say hello to them first? Yes. That's what life's about. And when you're in that framework, you're not worrying because it's not about who's above you, who's below you. Yeah. So are there any questions regarding this teaching?
Why does it refer to the tranquility of the wicked and the suffering of the righteous? I mean, how do we know that the wicked are tranquil?
Because in your mind,
why do you assume that the righteous are suffering?
Yeah.
Why does it couch it in that context?
Yeah. Because in your mind, they are tranquil. Okay. In a person's mind, they always think of the other, that wicked person, you know, gosh, it doesn't make sense why they get to, you know, have such success and I don't, you know, and it's in whatever context it could be. You know, I'm posting, you know, videos now on YouTube and on Facebook, you know, and you can get into a horrible mentality of like, why does that person have more views than me? You know, why is that person so much more tranquil than me, so to speak? And that can be applied in many other contexts, you know, in whatever occupation you're in. Why is that person ahead of me and I'm not? So in your mind, you think they're tranquil. In your mind, you think they're ahead. So it's saying those who are wicked in your mind, it's not in your hands. What are you talking about? Don't even think about it. Don't even consider it. That's not the purpose of your consideration in your life. The only consideration you have to have is how do I connect and how do I bring blessing? How do I say hello, see a humility, see a place and an avenue of connection to every experience that I'm in? Kenny asks, why would one even doubt oneself if that person is happy with their lot? 100%. You can't be happy with your lot if you don't doubt, if you're doubting yourself. That's what we're learning here. So if you would then split up the Mishnah, the first part of the Mishnah is the doubt. But we're saying, forget about the doubt as part of life. Stop doubting. Stop doubting where you are in the scale or in the rungs of the ladder. It's not about you. That's not what you need to be thinking about. Just focus in on saying hello to everyone first. Focus on, number one, embracing your vulnerability. And number two, focus on being the connection to life. Focus on seeing what you can do to connect and to bring out and to be genuine. That's what life's about. And then when you're experiencing that second framework, Gewalt, life is something that you can be very happy about. You're not bombarded with the mindset of why. You know, you're bombarded with the mindset of, and it's not a bombardment, you are tapped into the mindset of wow, instead of why. Yeah, and that's really the teaching here of the Mishnah. A beautiful, I think, very powerful understanding that can shift and transform immeasurably a person's experience of life. Yeah, any final questions? Okay, thank you everyone. Lovely to see you, lovely to learn with you, and hopefully we'll be on together at 12 to learn some Gemara. And again, we just send a huge refuah shlema to Gary's mum, Etel bat Ruth, or opposite way around, Ruth bat Etel, and she should have a refuah shlema. David, you wanted to say something there?
No.
Okay, we just saw you unmute yourself, but it's nice nevertheless to see the beautiful illustration of your face and to hear your voice as well. All right, everyone, keep well, look after yourselves, lots of blessing.
Thank you.